Hello, and welcome to the LAAGCast. We are the League of Above Average Gamers. I'm your host, Will. I'm here with my co-hosts, Max.
Yo.
And Sam.
Hey.
So, Max, what kind of outrageous thing do we have this week?
Well, today, actually, the day of recording, it was announced that DC was completely rebooting and relaunching their Vertigo line of books with all new original comics with all new creative teams. Some are worse than others.
They have, quite a disappointing lineup overall.
I like to reserve judgment until we see some content, but things are looking dicey at this point, if you ask me. But one of the most surprising parts of the announcement was that internet famous person Zoe Quinn is going to be writing a comic book for Vertigo.
Yes, internet famous person Zoe Quinn is an accurate description because she has done a lot of things since she became a known person, and they have all been disasters.
Now, I was going to ask what's she written, but wasn't the game that quote-unquote got her on the map basically just like a novel-style game, like you're just playing through a choice type? So I have no idea what that game was.
And I also do believe that she has a book that was released at some point.
Of course.
And I've heard it's really not written quite well.
Interesting. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Reserve judgment, of course.
Yeah, of course. But there was one that looked significantly better than the rest in that list that you showed us.
Yeah, I thought so too. The Mark Russell book looked like it might at least have an interesting premise. Yeah. So we'll see what direction they go with it.
Yeah, but
he did the very, very good Flintstone series from, I think it was 2 years ago now.
Flintstone series?
Yeah, it was great. DC did a line of Hanna-Barbera books that were super weird, like Scooby-Doo in the future. And, but the best one of the lot was definitely the Flintstones, which was this weird, 12-issue societal structure breakdown comic where Fred had a lot of depression because of his part in the war that took out the lizard people.
Whoa.
That sounds pretty good.
Or the tree people. Some people. They massacred him. It's a Vietnam thing.
Okay.
And the cover for this Mark Russell Vertigo comic looked like it had a very old-timey comic book cover to it.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of like a goofy Silver Age type thing going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But yeah, it's pretty outrageous that they're letting Zoe Quinn write anything. This is totally just a marketing scheme to kiss ass, essentially.
It makes you wonder if they're doing it as bait. You know what I mean? Like, they want people to do long YouTube videos destroying this work. They want to be able to have something that they can point at and say, look, there's proof of harassment. Yeah. And, it could all just be just a time bomb.
The problem is, at this point, everybody is so afraid that Zoe Quinn is going to target them that their criticisms are generally safe. Like, they make videos that are really just criticisms of the content at this point.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if she can move any sales. That's the real and only test when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we get into some game news?
Lay it on me.
Hitman 2 has been announced. It will be released in November.
Did you watch that trailer?
I did not watch the trailer, but did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, it's purely cinematic, no gameplay.
I figured.
It just shows the hitman taking out one target in 3 different ways.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's more of the same.
More of the same.
A little high quality.
It does look like it's going to be all released at once. They're not going to do the episode structure like they did with the recent Hitman game. But other than that, I expect it to be pretty similar.
Well, considering they just got picked up by Warner Bros., I wonder if they're moving on to a new project, and this is just what they've been working on until then.
And they're just farting it out.
Because I don't feel like that Warner Bros. Money has had an opportunity to make much of a difference in this game.
Right.
It seems like they need to move on to the next project, which could be even higher quality.
Mm-hmm. Which would probably be another Hitman or maybe something else.
They make Hitman. That's what they do.
It's true. It's true.
They are very good at it. And they've done it for a long time.
Well, the last one was really fun. I have downloaded and played it multiple times, so I think I probably will end up picking this up.
I still need to get it. I think we'd all enjoy it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And, interestingly enough, J.J. Abrams' studio Bad Robot has announced a games division.
Yeah, they're going to be doing entirely original projects.
Yep.
And I guess they're not licensing with anybody at first. And, it makes you wonder, are they going to make games based on their own film projects, or is it going to be completely original content unrelated to movies?
Well, I read a little bit, and apparently Bad Robot has actually been working with Valve since 2013 on various projects. Not so much Valve projects, but rather Valve recommends them to certain other things.
Okay, so what happened is that they, while talking to Valve, were talking to Valve about doing a Half-Life movie. And in all of this conversation, all these geeks that were talking about, spitballing about doing a Half-Life movie, at some point somebody asked Valve, hey, what if we just did Half-Life 3? Half-Life 3 is confirmed.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's not completely unbelievable.
And then, they would do a whole Bad Robot, ARG thing where they would do a game and a movie at the same time and have the game be some sort of, prequel or something happening at the same time as the movie, but filling in another part of the plot.
Yeah.
And you could have something really cool.
That's true.
I could see some trippy games coming out of Bad Robot.
They did say that they're going to release both AAA games and more, indie games. They want to do both styles.
I bet, a bunch of the ARG style stuff will be the indie style games.
Yeah.
Fast little things you can get.
Yeah.
But who knows? We might get all sorts of interesting things.
Yeah, it remains to be seen.
They have the money. That's for certain.
They just don't have the experience.
Yeah. Some Tencent, which is the biggest game developer in China, I think they might be the biggest in the world. They gave $100 million to Bungie to develop a new IP.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. When's that coming out?
They literally just gave them the money,
Okay.
So who knows?
Missed that news.
But it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Bungie, they have potential. Some. They got to get out of Destiny. Destiny is a disaster.
Sinking ship.
Yes, a sinking ship, exactly.
Do people still play Destiny?
Oh, yeah, Destiny 2 is very popular. Destiny 1 is kind of popular. Well, Destiny 1 might be more popular than Destiny 2.
So what's the problem then? You just don't like Destiny?
They're only losing players. They're not gaining players anymore.
But the game's out.
Yeah.
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 So why do they need to be gaining players? Isn't just slowly losing players the real, achievable goal of any game?
Yeah, but they're not making money.
Okay, fair enough.
They need to make money.
All right.
So Tencent pays them a lot, and Tencent owns everything that's successful, so this will likely be successful. Yes, indeed.
Interesting.
All right, well, anyway, playing games this week?
I think y'all know what I played. You want me to go first?
Yeah, let's talk about Dark Souls.
All right, I played a good chunk of Dark Souls Remastered.
Yeah.
I played up through beating Ornstein and Smo and getting the Lord Vessel so I can fast travel.
Very nice.
I did skip going through Blighttown by just going through the Valley of Drake shortcut and going down to the boss down there. It's a lot of fun, I gotta say. The increased co-op and invasion stuff has made it worth the price of getting it again. It's great that there's so many summon signs everywhere, and if you're human, you're in danger of being invaded all the time. I've been invaded a couple of times. And,
that's awesome.
I've also engaged in some jolly cooperation. I helped 3 or 4 people take down Ornstein and Smo last night before I went in myself.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit myself. Played about 3 hours, and I've been enjoying myself. I found some paths that I never went down before, and I've had some troubles I didn't have in my past run, but at the same time, I've been much better at parrying this time around.
And are you still using the Drake Blood Sword mostly?
I am. I don't have anything that's superior at the moment, although I do have some things that will be superior before too long.
Yeah, I've been moving through weapons trying to find something I liked because I'm trying to do an Artorias build, which is essentially 20 in each attack stat, and then other physical stats. But it kind of limits the stronger weapons and spells you can use at any given time, but I finally settled on a couple of spears that I enjoy, and so that's been a lot more fun because that has a lot more range than the dagger I was starting the game with.
The spears look very effective. I saw you using them, and I felt like the spears seemed like they might be better than pretty much anything else because you're not hitting walls, and they seem to have pretty quick strikes.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of downsides to them other than the damage overall is going to be weaker than other weapon types at equipment levels and everything else. But, yeah, that poke damage is good.
Yeah.
And that Silver Knight Spear, it's got a lot of reach.
Yeah, so think you're going to beat the game soon? Because if you beat Orange Thing and Smoke, then you're pretty far.
Yeah, because that's kind of like 40% or so, maybe halfway, technically, depending on how much you play of the stuff that's accessible before and after.
Yeah.
But, I got to figure out which direction I'm going to go for the big bosses and take out a couple of straggler bosses I didn't go through, like the Gaping Demon.
Got it.
And go back to the Asylum and kill the big old Asylum Demon the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a lot of fun stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing more of that because the game runs really good. Like it really does run really good.
Yeah, it's real smooth. I have had some hiccups in some places, more as I've gone on, but overall, it's pretty good.
I get the sound bug when I'm in tight corridors where it's like the game thinks that I'm outside the room, so everything is muffled as if it's from another room over.
Right.
Which is a little bit annoying, but I can live with that.
Yeah, I'll drop individual sound effects once in a while.
Nah, it's weird.
Yeah. Not quite there.
Yeah, they tried.
Good enough.
Sam.
Yeah.
You've been playing some Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I've been continuing to enjoy Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I mean, it's actually really fun.
You doing a lot of story content, or are you just sailing around shooting the shit?
I'm doing a lot of both, actually.
Cool.
Sailing from place to place always gives me a good fill of ship battles along the way, because I'm just going from one to another as I go towards my destination, and then once I'm there, the story stuff is all fairly easy, so I get through it really fast, and then I'm back to sailing and doing what I love.
It is the best quality of the game.
Yeah. It definitely is. And once I figured out that you can basically just dash from bush to bush, and even if guards spot you for a second, they'll forget about it if they don't see you long enough.
That's
it really... Yeah, exactly. It makes all of that trivial.
Yeah, easy.
Right. So I get to enjoy my ship blowing stuff up.
You can sneak past anyone. Sons of bitches.
Because you can sneak past anyone. Yeah, so great game. I'll probably continue to play it a little more, at least until I upgrade all of my ship weapons.
Yeah, sailing on the water is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Once there's nothing to upgrade, though, that's the point.
Right, exactly. Once my ship's as powerful as they come, what else am I gonna do? So,
are you controlling a little fleet besides your ship in this game too, or is it just your ship?
There's like a little fleet mini game where you send them to different parts of the world, but that's all menu based.
Right, that's the same as they have in Rogue.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it gives me a reason to capture powerful ships, and it gives me good rewards, so I do it. But it's nothing like the fun of actually sailing and shooting the other ships yourself.
Yeah, it's menu management.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, but when it comes down to it, you guys really want to talk about something else. Ocean-based, don't you?
Yeah, we've been playing Raft, which is a new indie game. I believe it's from a German developer, because when I go and check out the streams, they're all speaking German.
Okay.
And generally that means the community is supporting their, community game.
Makes sense.
But, it's a lot of fun. It's basically just a building game, but you're on a tiny raft floating in a world of water. Everything is water. There's little tiny islands.
Might you call it a water world?
You might call it a water world.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So is it a Minecraft-like? Are you tunneling for resources? Like, what's going on?
No tunneling. You'll dive for resources.
Sometimes.
There are islands once in a while, small ones, with trees. But for the most part, you're just floating through debris in the water that you want to throw your hook out to drag all the debris back in. Wood, plastic, barrels full of stuff like potatoes and things like that you can then use. Not the potatoes to upgrade your ship, and the potatoes to eat.
Sounds thrilling. Now, is there some sort of danger aspect to all this, or are you just building for fun?
Well, as it is mostly a fishing game, naturally there are also sharks in the water.
Oh, how many sharks?
One shark.
What? One shark.
One shark at a time. Yes, because when you kill a shark, another shark comes along to avenge that shark. That's how it works.
But it's not the same shark.
Oh, it's not the same shark.
It's just another shark because they're fiercely territorial.
That's exactly. Once you kill one, another one can expand outwards, and then it's coming after you because you're in its territory.
Intriguing. What can the shark do to your raft?
You can bite it and take pieces with them.
Pretty effectively?
If you're not there to stab him, he will take a piece with him.
He'll chew it off and take it with him?
Yeah, whatever piece he bites, he'll take. And if it's a piece that's a support for higher up pieces, because you build your raft outwards and upwards for multiple decks, if you take something that's supporting another piece, that piece is gone.
It all just collapses?
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
And because me and him play on hard, if we happen to die to the shark, because there are reasons to get in the water, and the shark is very aggressive. If you happen to die to the shark, both of us, then that whole playthrough is just done, and we have to start over.
It's a permadeath game.
It's a permadeath game. Although, if just one of us dies, the other can go grab their body, take it to a bed, and they'll heal up.
But if you both die, there's no carryover whatsoever. Everything's gone down the drain.
Yep.
Everything's gone.
But it's not horrible. It's not horrible because early on in the game, it is a fishing game.
Hey, let's contact the developer, and when they do a physical release, let's see if we can get them to put our quote on the cover of the box. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. Twice. I mean it, both of them. It's not horrible. It's not horrible.
I promise. It's really not.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be some fun.
Yeah, me and him are trying to build up a full, battleship, boat. Huge boat. And it takes a long time because you gather wood one piece at a time.
Yeah.
But we'll get there eventually.
Everything takes wood. Anything you want to build, any structure you want to make, any fuel that you need on your fires for cooking, it all takes wood.
And it is very much a survival game. You have to eat, you have to drink, the usuals.
Yeah. Gotta go fishing, lay down nets on your boat to catch more debris. It's a lot of fun. And that becomes... it goes from fishing game to an inventory and resource management game.
And a building game. Very much a building game.
Oh, definitely a building game, yeah.
All right, so it's an inventory management and resource conservation building game where you get wood.
Yes, right. Exactly.
You get wood.
That sounds fun.
It's great.
What does this game cost on Steam, dear friend?
$20.
Not bad.
Yeah, and it just came out early access, and it's very much bare bones. The developer has plans to release a lot more.
And it sounds like it's probably more fun to play if you have 2 or 3 other people to play.
Yeah, I would not play this game alone for the amount of time it takes to get anywhere.
Right. Can't be building and fighting the shark, huh?
I mean, you can be collecting and fighting the shark, but Sam doesn't like doing that.
Well, just not underwater.
Understandable.
Yeah. Well, so fun game. We're going to continue to play it. Well, we will have a nice battleship by the next episode.
All right, well,
Probably.
come up with some sort of plot for what's happening to, make it entertaining for the viewers next time. I want to hear a real, after the actions take place, you got to frame something around it story-wise. That's the reason we're out here. That's what I'm saying. The game has no story. Come on. Mix it up.
The game has a brilliant story.
MST3K it while you're playing.
Okay, in this water world where everybody's dead and all that's left is the floating remnants of all the plastics that we threw in the ocean, the wood, palm tree leaves, and the occasional floating raft. 2 people set out on a few planks of wood floating on more plastic to collect debris from the ocean and hopefully survive.
But there was a shark who was very angry that they were stealing his stuff.
He was doing a movie trailer style.
I know.
And you do a storyteller style.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, anyway, what do you say we take a short break?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back. And we're back with the TV and movie news. What do you got for us, Max or Sam?
Well, I guess I'll go. In interesting news, we've got another Joker movie in development. This one's supposedly going to be a movie about Jared Leto's Joker. Written by Jared Leto? No, maybe just starring Jared Leto, hopefully, right? This movie's never getting made.
Why not?
Because there's other Joker movies in production. Nobody ever canceled that Martin Scorsese one that was supposedly favoring Leonardo DiCaprio to star. There's also another one I was seeing on the comic news websites that confirmed that it's still in production. This is going to go the way of Silver and Black. It's not going to get made. It's going to get dumped off the schedule at some point. Production means nothing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does have the problem of there's only one person in the world who actually wants this movie made, and that's Jared Leto.
There's supposedly like some sort of Harley Quinn movie that's also in production. That movie might actually come out.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he was in that. But yeah, him being in a Joker movie by himself, that ain't happening. Come on.
I don't think he even looks like a good Joker.
It wasn't that good. He's got an okay Joker voice, but his version is weird.
Yeah, it's weird looking.
Yeah.
How classic Joker's look. In other news, actually not news, Dave Bautista is campaigning to star in the Gears of War film.
Yeah, this is a fun tidbit because I don't know if there's actually a film in development or not, but that dude looks exactly like Marcus Phoenix.
Right, I never played Gears of War, but if anybody was going to play Marcus Phoenix, Dave Bautista's the man.
You never played Gears of War? We've had it here a couple of times. Yeah, no, he looks exactly like one of those guys.
He
He's
does.
like all neck.
All exactly. All muscle and neck.
Right.
But that could be hilarious if it gets made.
Yeah, another crappy B movie video game adaptation that doesn't work on any actual level but has some fun value.
But it's about killing space aliens, and they can make that campy and fun.
It could go very Starship Troopers if they wanted.
Yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. So they're just yelling at each other the entire time. Come on, it's easy.
Phoenix!
That could be pretty fun.
So a lot of fun this week seeing the trailer for Bumblebee, where we're getting closer. Guys, we're getting closer to the classic G1 designs. Bumblebee is a Volkswagen Beetle, finally.
That's pretty cool.
6 movies in.
That's funny.
His robot mode, it still resembles Bumblebee from the Transformers movies so far. He's got that same weird head and everything.
Yeah, but he also has the nice dome paneling.
Yeah, very smooth, compared to the Mustang version. But more exciting than his look, honestly, was the quick few frames we get of what is clearly Starscream, based on his bright white and red color scheme as he transforms from an F-14 jet into a robot that even has Starscream's basic head shape. I'm really thrilled. I think that we're 1 or 2 movies away from total G1 accuracy.
We're gonna get there.
Starscream better have blue legs.
He better have a high screechy voice.
Yes, please, dear God, let Starscream be Starscream. Because if we could get a really character-focused piece, because there's only going to be 2 Transformers in this movie, it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you're only going to have 2, you may as well make them very detailed.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in other news, Solo is going to lose about 50 to 80 million for Disney.
Different analysts are projecting different levels of loss, but everybody seems to be projecting a loss.
I feel like a lot of people are going to go and see this movie late. Like, the hype wasn't there to go see it early when it's a crowded theater. But I feel like a lot of people are still going to go and see this in theaters.
Yeah, I still might make it out there while it's still on the big screen. I haven't missed a Star Wars movie on the big screen yet.
I've missed 2.
Bad fan.
Maybe 3.
I missed 1. Well, beside the ones that I couldn't have seen in theaters.
But obviously.
Yeah.
Although I did see even those ones in theaters when they did Star Wars Special Edition.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Nice. You guys are really up on it.
Yeah, you were little.
That was good stuff right there.
That was like the year after you were born.
It was just like, oh my god, they're bringing him back.
And then I was like, oh my god, what are these effects?
Yeah, and And the final piece of news, I think we're all pretty excited about this.
Yeah, Venture Brothers is going to be back slightly earlier than was predicted, because
Right.
everybody thought they were going to be back in November, but it looks like we're going to get the new season this summer.
Oh, yay. That's the best, because that is the best cartoon.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yep, excited for that. We will definitely be watching and reviewing that on this show, because I'm sure they'll do weekly release.
Yes, for sure.
That's true. Finally, something.
Something watchable,
For me.
Yeah, Will, seriously, get on it, find something.
Oh, but I hate everything.
Yeah, well, if it's not quality of Venture Bros, I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's different levels of quality, and I would say that the show we're going to talk about now could almost rival Venture Brothers for overall level.
It does have an overall level of quality that's great, though I believe you did notice a mistake in this week's episode of Westworld.
Maybe, yeah. It was the 7th episode of Westworld's 2nd season, and if there's one thing this show has done throughout its run, it's that it's taught us to look for even the smallest clues, because anything could lead anywhere, literally.
Yeah.
So this last episode had a scene where Teddy, the new soulless Terminator version of Teddy, beats the shit out of a guy with many, many face punches with an ungloved bare fist.
Beats his face to pieces.
Yeah, he smashes him to pieces. We don't see the results. I'm actually surprised that the show had the resolve not to show us the grisly after effects, but it was heavily implied that he was punching this guy's face long after the dude was dead.
Oh, yeah.
And then Teddy gets up, and the shot changes to a medium shot from the other side, and he turns and walks away, and the fist that he used to administer the savage beatdown is spotless. It's spotless.
Yeah.
Now, even ignoring the fact that host bodies aren't specifically more, they're not stronger than human bodies. Like, if you punch a guy in the face a bunch of times, it's going to tear away some of the skin on your fingers. You're going to come up with a little bit of damage from that. Besides that, there had to have been a ton of blood. There's all sorts of blood in your head, people. So many blood vessels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that his fist was completely clean, it has to be a production mistake.
Hey.
It has to be a production mistake. We got him. We got him, people.
You just don't know about that super clean blood. It just falls right off. It's futuristic, man.
Maybe that guy was a
those
host.
2 shots were from 2 different timelines.
And that could be the case. Yeah, one could be the initial beatdown, a switch shots, and now something's taking place in some sort of simulated reality. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything could happen. Anthony Hopkins lives in
cradle.
Bernard's body now.
Oh, right. Now he's in Bernard because they blew up the cradle.
You
Spoilers.
just don't comprehend how important to the story this is going to be.
I hope that I don't.
Yeah. So speaking of Bernard, so there's been 2 Bernards walking around this whole season. Am I right to believe that?
No, it's 2 different timelines.
It is 2 different timelines?
Yes.
Ah.
Anything with the character Strand, who showed up in the beginning of this season when they fished Mar off the beach, and then also in the final scenes of this season when they were interrogating Bernard in the room, and Strand was there. All that stuff is the most recent timeline.
Okay.
And we still don't know that there's still a gap of time that we haven't accounted for in between the Dolores' attack on the hub and Bernard washing up on the beach.
Okay.
So
That's what's going on.
Right.
Okay.
Now the question is, Bernard pretty clearly gives them a location at the end of this episode, but also he definitely has Ford still in his head, so that's probably Ford leading everybody into some kind of trap.
Yep. Almost definitely.
A lot of good stuff in this episode. The conversation with Dolores and Maeve when they were talking about, like, basically Dolores was going to respect her free will, but thought that Maeve was a fool
For staying alive.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good stuff.
And William getting shot like
Ooh.
7 times.
That dude got some comeuppance.
Oh my god.
I
still don't believe he's dead.
Well, there's people online now who are, I guess there's a William is a host theory, and I don't think there's any chance of that. That dude's just messed up, but it's TV, gunshot wounds, he's going to be okay.
Right, no, he'll be fine. He just got shot like 7 times. He's probably got like Kevlar in his jacket or something. He comes prepared when he comes to Westworld.
Yeah, this dude's never lost. He's the ultimate, hardcore player.
Yeah, there's real people who have been shot like 49 times and survived. What's 7 little bullets?
Very true. Yeah, this guy's tough. He's honed his abilities over decades in that park.
Yeah, exactly. And they couldn't just kill him off like that when his daughter just showed up to the park, and they never resolved that storyline at all.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's a good show. Will, watch it. It's good. You
It's so
hate it.
good.
I believe that I will enjoy it once I get around to watching it. I have seen a couple, shots here and there from Sam watching mostly, and it looks pretty entertaining.
It's so deep. There's so much to pay attention to.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
That's nice. Something to engage in.
Oh, yeah.
Been watching anything else, Sam?
No.
No?
Max?
No. Max?
I did watch one thing. Netflix has been doing this documentary series. They just downloaded the second season of it called The Toys That Made Us. They do hour-long episodes focusing on particular large-scale toy lines from, I guess it's the 80s, maybe some early 90s.
Okay.
But, they're all iconic toy lines. So the episode that I watched was the Transformers episode, which is part of the second season, which was a lot of fun. They talk about pretty much everything about how the toys were originally made, their origins from combining when Hasbro decided to buy various different toy lines and kind of merge them all together into the Transformers line. And Marvel Comics was kind of in charge of figuring out the plot and the characters for the American version of all of this. So we got a lot of cool interviews with people who were involved at the time, like Jim Shooter, who was editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics for a lot of years. He seems to have recorded quite a bit of footage for this documentary, which is pretty cool. And yeah, they I'm blanking on the names right now, but they go and they get in touch with everybody who was pretty instrumental to the success of the line. They get to Beast Wars by the end and talk about how good Beast Wars was for the brand, and it kind of revitalized everything in the 90s. And they have a little good-natured fun at the expense of the TV show, but talk about how at the end of the day everybody loved it, and for some people Beast Wars is Transformers.
Yeah, that's true.
It's most of what I remember from Transformers as a kid.
And they cap off just with, the little peek at the movies and the movie toys and stuff. And it's all really, it's sort of a fluff piece. It's all feel-good stuff. They don't try to dig up anybody's dirt or anything. But I do intend to watch some of the other episodes. They've got a Star Trek episode, a Star Wars episode. Nice. There's a lot of interesting ones there. So and I've been told that the Masters of the Universe episode is a particular hoot. So
all right.
I think that'll probably actually be the next one I watch.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That is a big, fantastic choice.
Yep.
Skeletor.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say we do some character rankings?
All right, guys. So I have received 2 lists from the gods that us are going to have to make a choice between. And the choice is, do we want to rate some doctors or some engineers? I'm not going to remind you who's on each list.
Engineers.
Doctors.
I think we should rank engineers.
Engineers it is.
All right.
All right, let's crack that laptop, take a look at our list, and I said engineers, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's start with the original, the classic, Scotty. Mr. Scott. Montgomery Scott.
Very entertaining.
Chief of Engineering. Originator of many classic lines. I believe many people's favorite character in Star Trek might be Scotty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And every iteration of him is entertaining.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy him as
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
Yep.
Right.
His version is good. It's funny. And James Doohan is also, he's a real funny guy.
Yeah, that's true.
His tends to always be entertaining. He's kind of got a little bit of a smart alecky streak.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
And he invented the whole, tell the captain it'll take 3 times as long as it's actually going to take.
Yeah.
And the captain tells you to do it 3 times less than what you said it could be done in, and then you do it, and you look amazing.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of fun with that for many years of Star Trek.
Everyone does that in Star Trek.
So I think Scotty is going to go pretty good on the list, personally.
Higher than McCoy?
I think that I would not put him... Oh. Nah, I don't think I put him over Dr. McCoy. I do think that Spock, Kirk, and McCoy are the best characters of original Star Trek.
Well, if he's not going above McCoy, is he going right below McCoy?
I think that he probably goes right above Quark.
Right above Quark.
No, I guess I'd put him above Khan also.
Above Khan, okay.
Above Khan.
I think I agree.
That works for me.
Benedict Cumberbatch really brings Khan down. We've got to consider all versions of everybody.
Yes, that is true.
So I'm going to go ahead. And is he a lieutenant? Is he just, like, what's Scotty's thing? I don't remember. I'll put it in later.
Yeah.
Montgomery Scott. At number 14. 14. Next engineer on the list is going to be B'Elanna Torres from Star Trek Voyager.
Oh.
The half Klingon, half human?
Yes.
So. B'Elanna's okay.
Yeah, she angry.
She is always angry.
Yeah, she's pretty good at her job. She's got I guess maybe she's the least talented chief engineer?
Maybe just the least sure of herself. Of
Yeah,
all the
least
engineers.
confident.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely the least confident.
I don't think she ranks super high, but I don't think she's a bad character.
She has some decent episodes, but yeah, she's never my favorite when she shows up on screen.
This is true. I wouldn't rank her the highest among the Voyager crew.
Below Paris?
I like Paris more than I like B'Elanna.
I think I do too.
Yeah, I agree.
But do you like Kim more or less than you like B'Elanna?
I like Kim more.
Kim a little more than I like B'Elanna.
All right, below Kim we have Commander Saru from Discovery.
I like Saru a little bit more than I like B'Elanna.
I think I like,
Do you like
Crusher and Brunt more.
I was
Or
gonna say-
Leslie and Brunt.
All right, here's the question. Do we like B'Elanna Torres more or less than Lieutenant Reginald Barclay?
Okay, yeah, that is the question.
I like Barclay more.
I think
Boom.
right below Barclay might be the right spot.
Okay, yeah, that works for me.
All right, so coming in at the new number 33 is going to be Lieutenant B'Elanna Torres.
That's awful.
B'Elanna. All right, so we got a top shooter now, fellas. We got a real top shooter.
Oh, I know who it is.
Transporter Chief of the Starship Enterprise D. Chief Engineer of Deep Space Nine. Miles O'Brien. The only enlisted officer on any main cast of any show.
Yeah.
Chief Miles O'Brien.
The hero of Setlik 3.
The hero of Setlik 3.
I've been
Killer
waiting-
of Cardassians.
I've been waiting for this because O'Brien's like one of the best characters in Star Trek in general.
The struggle of O'Brien, something that was admitted to be a thing in the writer's room, is legendary.
Yeah,
O'Brien
he's
must
just
suffer.
the best human. He's just the representation of human.
Right, he is the ultimate sort of Federation officer. Like, he's got a can-do attitude and can make anything work with spare parts.
And he's a decent guy and kind of a straight man, but he jokes around and stuff all the time.
Drinks with the best of them.
Oh, for sure.
Sings the
Irish.
good drinking songs.
He knows them.
You know, he he's one of the only characters who has like an actual like organic relationship with another human on any Star Trek show.
And yeah, it's one you don't mind, even though they're constantly having problems with their kids and shit.
Yeah, although Molly is on occasion annoying.
Well, she sounds like a fake plastic doll.
Right.
Yeah, very odd.
Like he got squeezed or like pulled the string on the back and the line came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, O'Brien-centric episodes are the best. He's the guy who you would want to be friends with of all of the characters on all of the shows.
Yep.
He's the guy you'd want to go have a beer with. He's the guy you'd want, like, going anywhere with you. You're going hiking, like, you need somebody to go with you. O'Brien's probably down with that shit. He could fix your car if you went on a road trip.
Yeah, unless you're taking a vacation to Cardassia, because O'Brien does have a little bit of a xenophobic streak with the Cardassians. I mean, understandably.
Right, but he, in the first episode that brings it up, he even talks it out with the Cardassian at the bar, and so it's, like, something that he just knows he has and doesn't act on and doesn't affect him in any way.
Right. He doesn't like it about himself.
Right, exactly.
It
so
confuses him even.
It's a deep character.
Yeah.
So
one of the best steps there is in Star Trek.
Definitely top 10.
Definitely.
Better than Bashir?
Hold on. I think that he's top 5.
Yep.
I think the question is he better or worse than Worf?
Yeah, that is a hard one because O'Brien and Worf have some comparisons in certain areas.
Because I do like, this is going to be heresy to some people, but I do like O'Brien more than Spock.
I agree.
And that's totally the Star Trek we grew up with thing coming through. At this point, anybody listening knows that we're next gen DS9 people.
For sure.
Yeah. So those characters are going to be higher on this list.
I think I do like O'Brien more than Spock.
Yeah.
O'Brien.
More than Spock.
I mean, more than Worf. Sorry.
No.
Worf. I really do. I think O'Brien's such a great character. Always entertaining.
I like Worf better.
Sam looks like he's struggling.
Sam is going to have to decide who is
number. These are like two favorite characters right here, and to put them in competition against each other. Worf learning to be everything that he becomes, and O'Brien staying O'Brien through everything he goes through.
He goes through so much. Lifetimes of imprisonment.
Oh man, yeah, that's the hardest.
Weird temporal replacement stuff.
Oh my god, just so much. I would rank O'Brien over Worf.
It's done.
Oh,
it's going on the list.
All right.
And but I guess definitely not over Picard, right?
No, not over Picard. Picard is Star Trek.
Yeah.
Chief Miles O'Brien. I think that's how the Brian part of his name is spelled.
It is.
It has an apostrophe?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, not the apostrophe, whether it's an E or an A or not, like what the vowels are.
O'Brien.
I believe that's the correct way.
Yes, that is correct.
Anyway, nobody cares about this.
Everyone cares about the spelling.
Proper spelling of O'Brien's name.
We will eventually post the list and it'll matter.
Exactly.
All right, let's take a break, fellas.
All right, quick break.
Be right back.
And we're back with the Transformer of the Week.
All right, the small Transformer that Sam chose off the shelf today is Blackjack.
Blackjack.
From the Generations Combiner Wars line.
It's about the size of a Hot Wheels in his car form.
Yeah, he's all black and purple and gold and turns into a little car. And he's the chest of the Combiner Menasor, so he's a member of the Stunticons team. And he's a stealth guy. He doesn't appear in a lot of the fiction and doesn't have a clearly defined personality in any of the fiction that I'm aware of.
Well, he's still pretty cool.
He's one of those cool little ones. He's just fun to transform. You can figure it out without instructions, and that's always a fun thing, as long as it's not too simple.
Yeah, right? It did not take me very long, and I have not transformed a single Transformer in all of our episodes. So very easy, definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of news
we already
talk about.
We already talked about just a little bit of it.
Yeah, the Vertigo announcement from DC, but also in DC-related news, DC Entertainment President Diane Nelson is stepping down and is not moving to any other job in Warner Brothers, so she was in charge of a nebulous amount of things that we'll see if they install somebody new as president and if there's any kind of a line-wide rehaul. I don't know how much. I feel like she did have some influence over the film section as well.
Which hasn't really been going great for them.
Right, so it's possible that they might be trying to bring in somebody who's more of like a Kevin Feige, like Marvel has, who can be a stronger like point runner for a cinematic DC universe.
Yeah, and they need it. That'd be a good move.
I could see that being the case.
And in just a little fun tidbit of news, Wolverine, after being dead for 4 or 5 years now, I think, in main Marvel continuity, we've known he's been coming back for a while now, but Marvel has announced now that when Wolverine comes back, he's going to have a new power. That's right. Wolverine's getting a new power, ladies and gentlemen. Wolverine's new power is Hot Claws.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's right. Hot Claws.
Wait.
Wolverine's claws will now be hot.
Wait.
Will they burn him?
He can toast the bread as he slices it?
It's amazing that this never happened before. Although wasn't that kind of the twist of the Wolverine movie, the second of the 3 Hugh Jackman Wolverine solo films, when he fought Silver Samurai, and Silver Samurai had a heated sword that was able to cut through Wolverine's I believe that was definitely the case at the time. Anyway, moving on. It's going to be a fun time on comics this week because I think everybody read everything.
Yeah, we got a lot of good comics here.
All right, so let's start off with the... is this the only we got Man of Steel. But the only high number comic on the list. which was issue 48 of Batman. We're continuing to crawl towards the wedding of Batman and Catwoman, and this was Tom King's first very Joker-centric issue.
Very Joker-centric.
Joker showed up in the War of Jokes and Riddles storyline, but he was very much an ancillary character to that, but this was as close to a Joker issue as you can get.
Well, I feel like almost every single line is delivered by the Joker.
Yes, he definitely has the grand majority of the dialogue, and a lot of his dialogue is pretty funny. He's got kind of like a free-form, absurdist way to the way he's kind of talking about everybody and narrating the things that are happening.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It's a pretty fun, interesting issue. Batman's kind of a dipshit in it.
Yeah, I was not a huge fan of this issue because, like, while it was kinda Batman-esque, it was also like, Batman, why are you doing this? You don't play his games to this extent.
Yeah, he was definitely acting like he had to do everything the Joker was telling him to do. Very much to his detriment.
Yeah, for no reason. It really did not feel like he had a good reason.
I feel like he did have a good reason. I feel like his reason was he really doesn't want the Joker to kill himself because he really wants the Joker to get help and get better because it's mental illness.
I thought you were going to say he really wants the Joker to be his best man.
Well, no!
That's definitely the case. Come on.
That's the way Joker definitely sees it.
That is the way the Joker sees it.
And that's definitely the most interesting twist, is that that's what the Joker's up to.
Right.
Am I your best man, after his little speech. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how badly Joker messes up Catwoman next issue.
Oh, man. Yeah. That could be violent.
Anything else, Will? Anything else you disliked?
It was okay.
Yeah, it's fine. And the art was good.
Yeah,
Like,
there was a lot of talking, and I wasn't a big fan of how the Joker was drawn entirely. Like,
yeah,
the thin-chinnedness.
Yeah, it's not quite the crazy eyes that Clayman was putting on him in that, I think it was Clayman, in the DC Nation one-shot where Joker ambushed that guy at his house.
Yeah, exactly. That was very good. Like that. This was just slightly worse than that.
Just slightly.
All right, so moving on to one of the big launches of this week, we have Justice League #1 by Scott Snyder and Jim Cheung. This was a pretty cool issue.
That was pretty good overall.
A lot of good stuff going on.
There's some Grant Morrison reference on the first page when we see the DC 1 million versions of Superman, Hourman, and I think Wonder Woman there.
Wow.
Plus we see Monitor, which that's fun. But yeah, it's a pretty cool issue. We get the lead-in with the Hall of Justice.
Hall of Justice is nice.
We get some nice interaction between the team, and we kind of see the way that they work under Martian Manhunter, which is another very Morrison-esque way to go about it, having him be the psychic connection of the team and kind of acting like the quarterback.
Yeah, they all seem to enjoy it.
And what do you guys think of the plot of this issue? It was kind of interesting how it was so action-packed at the beginning and then kind of ground to a halt halfway through.
I just feel like it's odd that they seemed so cool with letting this thing run into Earth when they knew nothing about it. When any other time some giant energy is going to crash into Earth, it is the end of the world to them, even if they don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I can't imagine somebody who hasn't been reading comics picking up this issue and understanding. Like, it's so dependent on everything that happened in Metal and in No Justice and everything that it's a very dense issue. Very much, I think, for deep dive type fans who are really into all the lore and everything. Which I like it. That's good for me. But it's also pretty weird. It is interesting to get the Legion of Doom though.
Yeah.
I thought this was a great page.
Yeah, Vandal Savage seems to be putting together some sort of injustice gang, but Luthor shows up and tells him that's a dumb idea. And whatever Luthor decided during No Justice apparently involves him creating a new Legion of Doom. Because I guess Luthor worships death now or something.
Hey.
Yeah, he seems to have something going on where the breaking of the universe has gotten him thinking that the end needs to come or something along those lines.
Something about the entropy tree during the whole No Justice thing really made him it's like he worships entropy now or something.
Yeah, he seems to have lost his mind to an extent, but he lost his mind in the sense that he's going to try to change the world in some major way.
Yeah, it's that classic, I'm saving you by killing you. Right. That is true madness.
I thought the ending was pretty interesting with the whole they have unleashed this thing upon the universe.
Yeah, I really do wonder what this is going to be in the next issue, I gotta say. Like, they've really set up some pretty high stakes for everything that's happening, and it's very much a this could go any direction type of cliffhanger.
They're just accelerating each of these series further, so it's like, hey, the last one, we said that was the end of the universe?
I know.
Well, here's the end of the universe.
You thought that was epic? Guys. You know, you can only escalate so far. But we'll see. We'll see if Snyder can continue to pull this off while obviously flooring the gas pedal just constantly.
I know, right?
Because ever since the first issue of Metal, he has not let off the gas, and we'll see if it's very hard to pull off a run like that.
Yeah.
And so we'll definitely see where he takes it. I am interested. I am enjoying it.
It's true.
It's fun.
All right. Next, we'll move on to something that I enjoyed quite a bit, which was the first issue of Al Ewing and Joe Bennett's The Immortal Hulk, the return of Bruce Banner to the Hulk role after several years.
They're just ripping off Weapon H.
Weapon H!
Don't.
This was a pretty cool little horror single issue.
Yeah, really. So dark.
Very dark. Those innocent people, including a 12-year-old girl, die at the very beginning, and they don't come back.
No, only Bruce comes back.
This is very much like the Vertigo Swamp Thing version of the Hulk, if you ask me.
That's a very angry Hulk.
It's the Breaking Bad version of the Hulk, because he goes and takes out some bikers. And the Hulk's personality is really interesting because it's really the closest he's been to his characterization in the original Stan Lee issues of the Hulk, where he was sort of more of like a Frankenstein-esque misunderstood monster who chose not to talk rather than not being able to talk because he was dumb. Because the way he sort of psychologically breaks down the kid in this issue, which the art really gets across fantastically with the two splash pages of the Hulk's full body and then the 2-page full zoom in just on the Hulk's face.
Yeah.
That's one of the craziest splash pages. You could put this up on the wall. This would be a great portrait.
This is how you convey real emotion in a comic, is by giving more size to that, emotion.
Right.
That expression.
This is what that kid is seeing. He's got the Hulk in his face, and isn't that scary?
That really is scary.
And then Hulk taunts him a bit and then breaks every bone in his body.
Yeah. Look at that grin on the Hulk.
Yeah, and he seems to enjoy doing it. This is not a hero Hulk at all. This is a monster. This is a monster living in a Bruce Banner who we'll see how much he's cognizant of what's happening. The other interesting twist, though, of this issue is it seems that they may be moving to a day-night thing with the Hulk, which I don't recall if that was originally part of his deal when he was first created.
I've never heard of a day-night Hulk.
But this Hulk was definitely, he got shot as Bruce Banner and didn't immediately Hulk out, as is traditional. He was taken to, he died, he was taken to the morgue, and then when the sun set, he woke up. So... and then they talked about the whole day-night thing in the dialogue, so I'm sure that was on purpose. So this is going to be some sort of Bruce Banner by day, Hulk by night comic. And
the cover kind of shows that.
Yeah,
Night Hulk.
That's a horror cover. He's coming out of his grave. You could change him to white, and this would be a Solomon Grundy cover.
Yeah, that's true.
But I really liked it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I'm looking forward to more.
All right. Next was the most unexpected surprise.
Oh, really?
Which was the latest first issue of the New Age of Heroes. I think this might be the last one. I don't know if there's any more number ones coming in this New Age of Heroes line that we've been sampling all of the beginnings of. And I gotta say, they say the best for last. Ryan Sook, Carrie Nord on art with Steve Orlando writing. Steve Orlando is definitely the biggest Grant Morrison fan working at DC Comics right now. Dude cannot stop using Grant Morrison stuff. So, of course, Mandrak, the Dark Monitor, appears to possibly be the final villain of the arc that's being set up here. Which, as you recall, that was the final villain of Final Crisis.
Yep.
And we've got heavy metal references. I think this beats Sideways for actual metal references, since we actually see the giant devilish Hawkman on the final page. Yeah. And I thought all these new characters were pretty cool. I do not remember any of their names yet. Except for this villain, the Bad Samaritan.
Yeah, I know. That's the only name I picked up too.
Because that's a dope villain. Firebrand is the main character. She's got a dope power. I like it a lot. It's sort of a callback to like the Hour Man style thing where, you be a superhero for an hour, or Quantum and Woody where they have to clang their bands together every 24 hours or they die.
Well, I thought the Ink guy was pretty cool as well. Whatever his
Rainbow
deal
Ink
was.
guy, the main guy.
Neon.
Neon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neon the Unknown.
It's Rainbow Blood. It's like,
Rainbow-
what the hell is going on there?
And he can apparently pull himself right back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought he's the one who got sliced in half.
I thought this was a lot of fun. I think this knocked the Terrifics off for me personally as my favorite of the whole New Age of Heroes thing, because while Terrifics is also good, it's dealing with established characters who are predisposed to like Plastic Man.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a slow burn. I mean, there's action in it, but it's really always feels like it's gearing up.
Right, lots of the characters talking to each other,
Yeah.
and this was action packed. They deliver so much. It's crazy. They beat out the Immortal Men in terms of killing people at the beginning.
Yep.
And same for Challengers. Challengers knocked somebody off at the beginning, right? So it's interesting that the 2 of the 4 people on the cover of this book appear to be dead.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to reading more of this. I think that this is everything that New Age of Heroes should be. Hectic plotting that does reference the best stuff of old with good art and new characters that are actually interesting, unlike anybody who was in the Immortal Men.
Man, I feel like this one's going to tie in very closely with Metal.
Yeah, I wish this is the one that Grant Morrison was going to be guesting on instead of Sideways.
Well,
Sideways. He doesn't belong there. That one's just Spider-Man.
Right? Although that said, I'd read the hell out of Grant Morrison's Spider-Man run.
Well,
Yeah.
that's fair.
All right, we're always going to review this last, guys, because this is the big event of the week. All
Bendis.
right? Bendis, Man of Steel,
Bendis.
issue 2.
better than not issue 1, in my opinion.
More happens. I do enjoy some of the stuff happening, but the plot is moving glacially.
Yes.
Yeah. Overall, it's okay. Superman does some stuff. Something's going on with Lois and Clark, and there's a Snoopy reporter going in there.
Yeah, the whole slow doling out of information as far as what happened to Lois and John is frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
But just like the first issue, Superman's interactions with the villains he's fighting are a lot of fun because I gotta give Bendis credit. Superman is Superman for sure. This is Clark Kent. This is Superman. This is how he would talk to some villains. Bendis can't help but throw in his his little knowing snark of having to be like, oh, don't give me your speech about how I can do better.
Right.
So we got to get our little intelligent bit in there. But let's talk about the art in this issue. Because there's 3 legendary artists who split art duties on this issue. The first 13 pages are Doc Shaner, who was the guy who drew that 4th issue of the Terrifics. That was so good.
Right.
Pages 14 through 15 are Jay Fabok. He's pretty good. I like Jay. His stuff is decent. But compared to Doc Shaner and the guy who does pages 16 through 24, Steve Rude, who almost never does comics interiors. It's very rare to get Steve Rude on anything. He has a very classic style. He reminds me almost of the Fleischer Superman from the original animated shorts that they made. The way that he sort of, uses a minimum of line and classic features, and Superman's a real straight line, flying like a speeding bullet. It's good stuff, man. It's really what you want. That said, Rogolzar, after this issue, it looks like maybe he's just Lobo, but not funny. Because he's a world killer, right? He's an eternally dangerous world killer who rides a bitchin' space hog.
Yeah.
And if that's all it's going to be,
He's not engaging.
not yet.
Right.
The plot with him, while not predictable, feels formulaic. We know he blew up Krypton.
Right.
This whole thing with the Guardians of the Universe, it's interesting dialogue, but you kind of wish that more time was being spent on Superman or on Rogolzar himself. Why do we care about the Guardian of the Universe and whoever the hell he's talking to discussing this?
Just wait, Rogolzar's going to end up not actually mattering, and he's just leading into the real villain.
Maybe.
Yeah.
More likely, issue 3 or 4 is going to be completely Rogolzar-centric, and Bendis is going to dump, a mountain of backstory and dialogue on us all at once.
Hopefully it gets a little better, because, as you say, Superman's good, but these issues aren't the most entertaining.
Right, it's not bad, but it's not doing a bunch of, fun, whiz-boom, entertaining stuff the way that the Tomasi run does. It feels very much like a guy being like, oh, I'm going to write Superman, and writing, the most generic Superman story. Like, I'm going to write the perfect Superman bit, whereas Tomasi was just like, yeah, Superman's been around for so long, I'm just going to write this, like, crazy thing where he goes to Bizarro World, or like
it's a family
Superman
adventure
in the multiverse, and he's hanging out with his kid, and like this weird farm thing. And it was just so entertaining and such a breath of fresh air that hopefully Bendis gets over himself soon and just starts delivering some. He's got the talent. Like he can do it. He's proved he can do it.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see. This still could go either way.
It'll get there.
Sure. We'll see. Hopefully he just doesn't so slow in his plotting. Just tell us what the hell happened to Lois and John. Just tell us. We can handle the truth.
It's true. Yeah.
That's true. Get it out of the way.
Why isn't Clark looking for them actively? Are they somewhere for their own protection?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just vanished.
I mean, we see this like thing that appears in their living room in this issue, but like the way that they actually show it to us makes me think that we're supposed to assume that it's bad. But it's actually going to like pop open and be somebody from the Legion of Superheroes in the Year 3000 who says, like, Superman, I can't tell you exactly why, but we need to take your wife and son for protection to the Year 3000. Like,
right, one of those.
Something that will cleanly explain why they aren't around and why he isn't looking for them.
Yeah, right. They're going to wait until issue 4.
We'll see.
Wow.
That's all I have.
Well, in that case, if you are a listener and you have enjoyed this podcast, you should follow us on Twitter at @the_LAAG. That's LAAG for the League of Above Average Gamers. That's us. You can also send us an email at LAAGentertainment@gmail.com. Ask us a question, anything you'd like. We can respond on air. We can respond by email. We'll get back to you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show if you have any. You can listen to us on Libsyn at LAAGentertainment.libsyn.com. You can find us on YouTube at either LAAG Entertainment or just search for the LAAGcast. And we'll be on all the other podcasting services soon if we're not already there. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week.
So long.
Thanks for tuning in. Tuning in. Tuning in. Tuning in. Tuning in. Tuning in. Tuning in.